Perfect. How's it going today, Briana?
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here today. So to start off the video, we start off with just having you share your name, and you can share your full name, your legal name, your alias, a nickname, anything that you want to have your name go by.
Sure. So my name is Briana Rachel Carago. My maiden name is Barnett.
Heck yeah. Do you know the history of your last name and like where, like your maiden name, where it comes from?
It's Polish.
Okay.
So my family came from Poland and Lithuania.
Oh, heck yeah. Have you ever been back to the other country?
I have not. No.
Okay. Have you ever wanted to?
I would love to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are both your parents from Lithuania and Poland, or do they meet from was one from Poland, one from Lithuania?
No, so my dad's family's from Poland and Lithuania. That's where Barnett comes from.
Okay.
My mom's Canadian, so her family's Scottish and French.
Nice. Have you been to Scotland or France?
I've been to France.
Okay, how'd you like it?
I love it.
When you were over in France, did you have a chance to see where your family was from?
Yeah, we did. So I actually lived in Switzerland in high school, and so we spent a lot of time in Europe and France. So we went to a small town that my family was from, and we went to this restaurant, and my mom got a bottle of wine, and she said that it smelled like her grandma's house. She could tell that is where she was from.
That's super adorable.
Yeah.
Did you ever find a bottle for yourself to bring home?
I didn't. I mean, I was very young at the time.
It's okay. You're in high school.
I'm sure my parents did.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about both your parents' side, because they sound like they're very different. For one from Europe,
sure.
and then one from Poland, from Canada, almost Canada. Did you ever talk to your dad about what it was like for your family in Poland, and then we'll go to Lithuania?
I don't know too much. I know that my great-grandparents came on a boat, immigrated through Ellis Island in New York, and then to New Jersey. But I don't know much about their life back in Poland or Lithuania.
Okay. So you don't really know why they came over. They just came over from Poland? Okay. Yeah. What about your parents from Lithuania? Or grandparents from Lithuania?
That I'm not too familiar with, to be honest with you.
Okay, so just know that your families are from
those countries, correct.
Okay, cool. Have you ever want to go?
Oh, I would love to. I love to travel, so I want to go everywhere.
Do you think you'd be able to find some family lines dating back to your family back in those areas?
Probably. My dad is really into genealogy, so he's mapped out our whole family.
Really?
Yeah. So we know everyone we're related to my 8th cousins or something like that on that side.
Have you ever talked to them on that side?
We've said hi. We follow each other on Facebook, and that's probably about it.
That's pretty cool. So then on your mom's side, both of your grandparents are from Canada? Correct. Okay.
Yeah, they're actually native Canadians, so they immigrated from Scotland and France to Canada before it was even a country.
Oh. That's dope.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did your great-grandparents immigrate from Scotland and France, or was it
No, it was a couple grades before that.
Okay.
Canada's been around a long time.
It was the 1800s?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you know any genealogy from your family back in French Scotland?
Yeah, they traced it all the way back. Way back when. I couldn't give you details. Sorry.
No worries. You're good. I know that in Scotland they have when groups of families, they're called clans. Are there similar names for communities or families in other parts of Europe?
I have no clue, but my family still considers themselves a clan. I even have relatives that still wear their kilts to our family weddings and those kind of get-togethers.
Do you have a family crest or anything like that?
I don't, but I have cousins who their family does.
That's super cool.
Created their own crest.
You should make your own crest.
I should.
Yeah, and then add take that to every wedding event or every event that you have now, and have just Mason wear it. This is our family crest.
Honestly, that sounds like a good idea.
You should. That'd be super dope. Cool. Do you know the history of how your grandparents met on both sides?
Not my grandparents, no.
Okay. You just know, do you have a chance to meet them?
I've met my grandparents, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Are they still with us, or?
One grandpa and one grandma are left.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. No, I have one grandfather left, and so when they were younger, one of my favorite things was to always ask them how they met.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was just a really cute story, or just inappropriate story.
Well, I do know my grandparents on my dad's side. I don't know how they met, but when they got engaged, what my grandma did was she did a card trick. Yeah, so she was
elaborate.
She made my grandfather choose a card from a deck, and she said, if I can guess what card you pull, you're proposing to me.
Really?
And she got the card right.
Were all
and
the cards
she was
in
an
the same
engaged
one?
woman. As far as I know, they were a normal deck of cards.
Oh shoot!
She knew which card it was, and they got engaged.
Dang, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Is that how you got Mason?
Something like that.
That's adorable. So then, did your parents meet here in the States, or where did they meet?
No, they met in Ottawa, Canada.
Ottawa, Canada. Okay. I know your mom was there. Why was your dad there?
My dad and his best friend were on a bike trip up from New Jersey to Ottawa. They met at a bar.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Fell in love, and then that night my mom broke up with her boyfriend of 8 years, saying she found the man she was going to marry, and my parents were married within a year after that.
All right, we gotta elaborate and deep. That's when you hear like stories, like in like fairy tales. Like what did your parents ever tell you, like what happened that night, like, that made them just like connect so well?
I don't know. They just seemed to click, and that was that. There was no specific instance that they've ever mentioned.
Dang, so your mom was with dating someone for 8 years.
Yeah.
How old were your parents when they met?
Ooh, early 20s. I think my mom was about 24.
Okay. And your dad was similar?
A year older, so like 25, somewhere in there.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and they were married within a year.
So your dad and his best friend went on a bike, like motorcycle, or just like cycling?
Cycling.
They cycled all the way to Canada?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Was your dad like an avid, or not avid, like a very like active cyclist?
He was at the time, yeah.
Okay. And he just went to Canada for fun?
Went to Canada for fun. Went to a bar that my mom just happened to be at, and the rest is history.
Dang.
Yeah, my mom was a 90-day fiance.
That's incredible story. I didn't know that. I would love to ask your parents, like, hey, like, what was it like? Was it like, did you ever ask them, like, was it love at first sight, or?
Oh, it definitely was love at first sight for them. I can never get a straight answer about what exactly happened, or if there was one moment. They just joke about, oh, he put his leg on top of mine, and they blame each other for the moment.
That first touch. That's super sweet. Oh my gosh. So, was your mom trying to move to the States, or was she trying to move to Canada, or stay in Canada?
No, she was in college at the time.
Oh my gosh.
So she was pursuing an associate's degree. My dad was in college in New Jersey. They had zero interest in moving. It was just a complete coincidence.
Oh my god. That's incredible. Okay, so I gotta slow down a little bit. I want to learn more. So your parents met at a bar in Ottawa, Canada, and then your mom broke up with her boyfriend of 8 years at that same night.
Yep.
The next day, did your dad stay in Canada for a couple of weeks, or
no?
Did he come
He
back?
went back home, and then they just alternated driving every weekend to see each other.
How far is that commute?
It was about 8 hours.
They would drive every other week.
Yeah.
Wow. You hear about stories about now people don't want to drive to their significant other house that's like an hour away.
Well, they didn't have the phones the same way we do now. They didn't have a good way of communicating.
They had to commit to it. Wow. Okay, so they started dating immediately.
Yeah.
They started every other weekend, or every weekend, sorry.
Yeah.
And then they got married a year later.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that story.
Yeah, they actually met July 3rd, which is my birthday. So that's how I know the day they met.
So the day before 4th of July, your dad just like, let's go to Ottawa, Canada.
Yep.
Dang. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So they met, and then they were relatively young then, huh?
Yeah, mid-20s.
Okay. What were they both looking for, like, long-term relationships when they met each other, or just kind of just like fell into it?
I mean, obviously my mom had been in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
But obviously was also not going anywhere at the same time. And so I think they were both looking to marry. My dad had been engaged prior as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So they were both looking to marry.
Was he engaged at the time when he met your mom?
No.
That'd been really funny. Both. Dang, okay. Talking a little bit more about your mom, what was it like for her growing up in Canada?
It's exactly what you would hear when you hear, like, oh, I walked uphill both ways in the snow. Like,
Really?
they always had snow on the ground, and they would trek in the snow to school and class, and they would do activities like ice skating and skiing in school.
Okay.
All of those snow activities.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with like Ottawa, so it's a very just like snowy town.
Yes, it's the capital. So
Okay.
it's definitely a big city, a lot of like old architecture and history to it.
Capital of the country, or oh,
The
really?
country.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no one knows that.
I've never known that. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so she grew up in the capital of Canada. What did her parents do growing up for work?
Her parents?
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you.
Okay, but she did like a lot of fun things in the snow with her friends and family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they had like a farm, so she was out on the farm too. But in Ottawa, it's very like warm, humid summers and then very cold winters.
That's like very East Coast weather.
Yes, but a little more extreme on both sides.
Okay. Okay. Did she have siblings growing up?
Yeah, she's one of 6. She's the youngest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, so how many how many brothers and older sisters
She
did she
has
have?
4 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay. Do you know all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You never know. Some parents, some kids never know like all their like relatives.
Yeah,
they-
we have a big family reunion every year, so
Really?
we know.
Do you all go back to Ottawa or is it somewhere else?
It's in Ottawa. We used to go every year. I haven't been in a while, but yeah, they still do it.
Is this the family that does like the clan? Mm-hmm. That's super cool. When's the reunion usually?
Normally it's in August.
Okay. Is that like right at the end of summer?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a little cooler.
No, it's still pretty humid and muggy, to be honest.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Who's the so I'm assuming that your parents are the ones that bring the reunion to their house, or is it somebody else?
No, because it's in Ottawa, so
Yeah,
now.
that's right.
Yeah, my parents don't live there, but normally we'll rent out like a venue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same venue every year. It's in a park.
How big is the reunion usually?
I'd say there's probably like 100 people there. It's
Okay.
pretty big.
That's awesome. No, I love that you still keep that tradition going with your family.
Yeah.
Because you hear a lot like with big families, they disperse into different areas and they kind of like just lose traction or lose communication.
Yeah, it's a little different who's there every year, especially as we've gotten older. A lot of my cousins my age, we don't really go anymore because we all have our own families. But it'd be great for us all to get back into it.
Nice. Who's the one that like helps plan that?
A lot of the older relatives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one day the baton will be passed to you
I hope
and your
not.
cousins. Why not? It'd be fun to plan that.
It would be.
So at this reunion, like, do you all play games, talk about stories? What do y'all do?
Yeah, so usually all the older adults will be like in the venue, just chit-chatting, sharing memories. All the kids are out on the playgrounds. My cousin and I used to catch frogs. That's what we would do every
Really?
year when we were younger.
Did you catch them like keep them as pets, or just catch them and release them?
Catch them and then hope that our parents would let us keep them, but they don't.
Do you still do that now?
No.
Oh,
I
you should bring
wish.
that back with Nathan. That's really funny. Cool. But that's awesome. So you have so it sounds like you had a big family on just your mom's side.
Yeah.
Are you close to most of your cousins?
Yes, again, as we've gotten older, we've lost a lot of contact, but we still have like a shared Facebook page where we share updates all the time.
That's awesome. Okay. Sorry about that. So going to your dad's side of the family, they grew up in New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that like for them or for him?
Yeah, he has 2 sisters. He's the oldest child.
Okay.
Just a very normal childhood, to be honest with you.
Do you know which part of New Jersey he was from?
Yeah, so he was born in Newark.
Okay. I know that's at.
Yeah.
Cool. What were some of the things that he did for fun growing up there?
I got no clue.
Well, it's a big city, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming it was like maybe sports or.
He was never into sports. He's still not into sports.
Never mind, scratch that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Your dad was the oldest, your mom was the youngest. It's a good mix.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Was he close to his sisters?
Yeah, they're very close. They're all 4 years apart. So
Okay. That's
yeah,
pretty
they're
cool.
all very close. Still to this day, they chat all the time.
That's awesome. Dang, so your dad had a small family, was the oldest. Your mom
Yep.
had a big family, and was the youngest.
Yep.
So kind of two opposites, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super cool, though. Sorry, you were saying?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. You're good. So they met, started dating, got married. Where was their wedding at, do you know?
It was in New Jersey.
New Jersey? And were both sides of the family able to attend?
Yeah,
How big was the wedding, do you know?
I don't. But just their families alone was pretty big.
Yeah. Did your mom ever talk to you about, like, her best friends growing up?
Yeah, I've met them.
Really? What are they like? What are they like?
Yeah, her best friend's actually my godmother.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're great people. I mean, in high school, they have some crazy stories. We went back and visited my mom's high school a couple years ago up in Ottawa, and she was just going through yearbooks, and they're talking with all the guys that they made out with.
That's funny.
So they were pretty wild in high school.
That's funny. Was there a high school like the ones you see on TV that like are all indoors, like a not a dormitory,
Yeah.
Oh, is it big?
All indoors though. Not
Okay.
like a big campus like I see at high schools in California.
How was it like for you walking through your mom's like old high school campus?
It was awesome. I mean, her school, it looked like a castle. Like huge old buildings, lots of architecture. It's beautiful.
Would you ever want to go to high school, or would you ever want to have your kids go to school there? Or family?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I
be
don't know if
pretty
I'd
cool.
ever want to live in Ottawa, but yeah.
That's funny. What about your dad? Like, do you know his best friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you
His
met them?
best friend's my godfather.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay, so you're pretty close with your family's like friends and family growing
Yeah.
up. I love that they kept that relationship with you and are helped you like just know like where they came from and so forth.
Yeah.
Cool. So after your parents got married, where did they end up going?
They stayed in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they enjoy traveling a lot, or they just kind of want to stay there for a little bit?
At the time, they wanted to stay there for a little bit. Now they're more into traveling. But back then, I mean, I was born and raised in New Jersey until I was in high school. So, yeah, they were pretty set on staying there.
Was it a big transition for you, like going from East Coast to West Coast?
Yes, but at the time, I really loved it. I was excited for that opportunity. I think for me, it was a fresh start because I moved to California my senior year of high school on my 17th birthday, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was the day I got my driver's license. That's why I
Freedom.
stayed till my birthday. And so I think moving to California, I don't know if it would have been as much of a difference if I hadn't had my driver's license, but I think moving here and getting that final bit of independence, I think I looked at it as I grew up here because that's where I was really able to like explore and grow into myself.
Nice. Did you ever want to, when you were in high school, what was it like to, I knew it was like a new opportunity,
Yeah.
but did you stay close with your friends that you had made back East Coast?
On and off. I still
Okay.
talk to some of them here and then, but I went to 3 different high schools. So I feel like every time I'd move, I sort of lost most of the friends that I had there. But I liked it. It gave me that fresh start. Like there was nothing holding me back from pursuing new friendships. in my new
Okay.
schools.
That explains why you're so like open and just friendly.
Yeah.
It's easy for you to make friends because you go everywhere.
Easy to make friends, easy to lose friends.
Oh my gosh. Sure. So when you moved to the West Coast, where did your family move to?
To Carlsbad.
Carlsbad. That's by San Diego?
Yeah, North
Okay.
San Diego.
How was that like? Because I'm assuming it was a big change from like,
Oh, it was a huge change.
Yeah.
We were, I mean, right by the beach. I worked at Legoland. Like,
oh no way.
I worked at Legoland as soon as we moved here. All the towns, like in New Jersey, all the towns are very small and very close together. No traffic, not like you see out here.
Okay.
Whereas here, I felt like everyone was just very laid back. Like, no one really traveled as much between the different towns as what I was seeing in New Jersey. You just go and you're like, this is the city I'm from, and it seemed like everyone wanted to sort of stay there. Like,
Interesting. So it's kind of like what you hear on like TV. Like people don't really explore out of their comfortable.
yeah, I noticed that more so out here.
Okay. What was it like? What was Legoland like? I've never been there, so I always wanted to go. Did you like it?
Yes, I loved it. I worked at the hotel buffet. So I didn't really work in the park, but I went to the park a couple times. But I met a lot of cool celebrities doing it, so that was fun.
Like who was your favorite?
I went to Gwen Stefani's hotel room. Yes, her kid lost their shoe underneath their table at dinner. I had to run up there and give it back to them.
That's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
So this is when you were in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a job while in high school. Did you do anything else that was like extracurricular?
Not by the time I came out to California.
Okay.
I think I was sort of over that. Again, it was my senior year. I was already applied to schools.
You're ready to get
so
out.
I pretty much just worked.
When you were applying for colleges, I know we met at Long Beach, but what were the schools you want to go to?
Yeah, so I was between Long Beach and University of Vermont, actually.
Okay.
Those were the two
Very big
schools
differences,
that
yeah.
I was debating between. I applied to mostly schools back on the East Coast, like Boston area as well. But ultimately, I decided to go to Long Beach to stay closer to home.
Okay. What was your major going out, or when you were applying for schools?
Initially, it was biology, but I switched pretty quickly over to kinesiology.
Oh, why is that?
I thought it would be a little easier.
Fair.
Biology seemed like it was a lot of just classroom work, whereas kinesiology was more hands-on.
Interesting. That's actually funny because I went into college as a kinesiology major, and then I switched over to history.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because it was when we was at Long Beach, we had to take chem Chem 111A
Yep.
and Chem 111B, and I was studying to be a physical therapist. But all the classes that we were taking had nothing to do with like the anatomy of the human body. It was just like very random classes to weed you out.
Yeah, I was the same boat. I wanted to do physical therapy initially as well. But I loved the science classes, so it kept me going.
That's good on you. I couldn't do it. I was there for like, I was a kinesiology major for like, I think maybe a week, and then I switched over.
Wow.
I'm like, nope, never again. I just hated chemistry and science. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But what made you love biology and chemistry and kinesiology?
I was good at them.
Really? Just like hands on, just okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it came down to. I like how there's a solution, and this is the solution. I'm not a creative person, so I like just...
You're pretty creative.
Not really. So I like just being able to solve the problem and knowing I got the answer right.
That's fair. Okay. I mean, like, I say that you're creative because I've seen the things that you've gone, like, for your friends or family information. Like, they're very, like, thoughtful gifts.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so, like, you're pretty... maybe you're not creative, but you're more thoughtful in what you want to give people.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Like your gift that you gave me. We'll show later.
We have to show the people.
We'll show them. We'll see about that. Okay, so what was it like going to Long Beach State for the first time?
So I hadn't actually been on campus until SOAR.
Oh, so you just applied and went to campus?
I just applied. I knew nothing about the school, to be honest with you. It was just a Cal State close to home.
Oh.
And that's why I had applied there.
I'm surprised that San Diego State wasn't close to you.
I didn't even apply to San Diego State.
Really? Was San Marcos a college when you applied? Because San Marcos.
I don't know why. I only applied to Long Beach, and then up in Northern California, I applied to like UC's.
Okay. Yeah, because Long Beach is pretty far from Carlsbad.
Yeah, Long Beach was the only Cal State that I had applied to.
Interesting. It's kind of like fate then.
Yeah, it worked out.
That's really funny. So you go to Long Beach for the first time on campus. You're at SOAR. What was that like? Did you know anybody going to campus?
Nope. I didn't know anyone from my graduating senior class, to be honest with you. I had people at graduation asking who I was.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I mean, at that point, I was just keeping to myself. I feel like my senior year of high school, I was friends with a lot of like sophomores. Because of the way my classes worked out, I was missing classes that seniors weren't missing that were going to Carlsbad, so a lot of my classes were with younger students. So I sort of hung out more with like sophomores my senior year, and so I just didn't really associate with my senior class.
When did you transfer into your senior class? Was it like in the middle semester?
No, it was the beginning of the school year. Yeah, because we moved in July, and then I started at Carlsbad in August.
Okay. Your high school, what was it like the high school here?
It was huge. All outdoors, as we were talking about before. My school in New Jersey was a box. Everything was inside. Whereas Carlsbad was just, everything was so spread out. You could see the water from campus. I mean, it was beautiful.
Was it weird not experiencing weather?
Yes and no. I feel like I adapted to it pretty quickly. I feel like you don't remember that you're missing it until you see pictures of, oh wow, it's snowing over there. Until then, you don't even realize you're missing out.
Okay. I've always wondered that, because obviously, like, going from somewhere that you've never experienced weather to experiencing like winter, cold, fall, winter, and spring and summer, like, it's a big transition.
I definitely think that's the harder transition. I mean, you sort of forget as soon as you're in the nice weather what it could have been.
Do you miss the weathers or the seasons?
Not really.
Okay, so you like the just
I like consistency. I know what to expect every day.
Fair enough. No, I don't have the weather app on my phone because I'm like, why do I need it? I'm gonna go outside, look at the sky. I'm like, oh, it's cloudy. I'll bring a jacket just in case. Oh, it's sunny.
See, I don't even check the weather. I just go outside and hope for the best.
Do you just like carry like an umbrella or like a sweater in your car?
No.
Take your wild. I'm not that extreme.
Sometimes I'll walk outside. And I'll see that it's raining, and I just keep going. I'm like, well, I don't need a jacket at this point.
You just walk through the rain?
Yeah, I was like, I'll be inside soon enough.
I guess it's kind of peaceful doing that.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny. Okay. So you're working. I remember you going back to high school. You were working. You weren't really involved like any clubs or anything like that?
Not my senior year, no.
Before that?
I did some like sports clubs. Like I was in badminton. I played rugby in high school as well.
Oh, really? Oh, dang. I don't know anything about rugby. How'd you get into rugby?
I was looking for something that no one else did. I found a rugby league and I joined it. This was back in middle school.
Okay.
And then I played it through like my sophomore year of high school.
Was it very? I know it's like pretty physical. What are the rules for rugby? Like, I know very little about it. If you remember.
The main rule is obviously the ball travels backwards rather than forwards in football.
Oh, like lateral pass.
Yes, but backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the biggest rule. I think that's different than most of the other sports you see.
When I have seen it, like I always see like people kick it when they're running. What's the point of that?
To gain yardage.
Oh, so you can kick it and like if your team picks it up, like you get all those yards? Okay, what if the other team gets it? It's their ball then?
Yeah.
Oh. It's like kind of like a game of keep away.
Sorta, yeah.
Huh. I never knew that. But when they kick the ball through the uprights, that they score, right?
Yeah, so it's just like in football where first you score on the ground. You actually don't score until the ball touches the ground. So you can still be tackled in the end zone until that ball makes contact with the ground. And then after that, then you kick it.
Interesting. Good to know. Yeah. What about badminton? Where did that start?
My friends were playing badminton, and I'm a follower, so I said, let's do it.
Did you want to play?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Were you any good?
I like to think I was decent.
Does it have your racket? Or is it called a racket?
Yeah. Okay. I don't anymore, no.
You should bring it back. I would love to see you playing rugby and badminton again.
Let's do it.
I can't do it. I would not be good at that. I have no hand-eye coordination whatsoever.
We've traded that for pickleball now.
Exactly. It's like a giant ping pong.
Exactly.
So you're going back to high school last time. You got your license when you got to California, or were you still in New Jersey?
No. So I told my parents that we were moving to California my senior year. I was getting my license before we moved. Because if I moved to California and I hadn't gotten my license yet, I'd have to start all over with a permit in California. Whereas if we stayed an extra week in New Jersey and I got to take my driving test, then I could transfer it to California. So I had my driving test at like 8 a.m. on my birthday, and we were on a 1 o'clock flight to California to move out here.
Oh, so it was literally the day of.
Oh yeah, no, I moved on my birthday.
But yeah, your exam the morning of.
Yes.
Oh my god. That's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. If I failed, then I would just have to start all over in California. So there was a lot riding on it. Especially, I mean, being a high schooler, I feel like that's all I wanted was to pass this test. I had a lot riding on it at the time.
Shoot, that was a big gamble. And I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised that your parents said yes to it.
I think they felt bad.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congrats. You got your license on the first try.
I did. Yes.
You always been a good driver. That makes sense. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So when you got to Long Beach, you were on campus for the first time when you were at orientation. What was the campus like when you first saw it?
I think it's a lot bigger than you expect. I think you know that college campuses are bigger than high school, but you don't really know the extent to which it is until you're really there. Everything looks the same at Long Beach too, so it was so easy to get lost. So it definitely took a while to get my grounds. Yeah,
and the fun fact, it's like I think 3 times larger than Disneyland.
Wow.
Yeah, because everything's just so spread out.
Yeah.
And I know that they're going to be building more to eventually spread out even more.
Wow. Yeah, and then I moved into the dorms. So I lived on campus that first year.
How's it going from being at home to living in the dorms and having like full independence?
I think I liked it. I like just having everyone that I wanted to talk to right there.
Yeah.
Very easy to access. So it was a lot of fun. I think I was able to finally be adventurous like I wanted to be, being out on my own in college.
Yeah. When you moved into the dorms, what's that experience like? Do you like walk around and knock on people's doors to say hi? Do the RAs come and make everyone become friends? What was that? I didn't dorm myself.
I think it was a mix of both. So there's a common area to each dorm. So I think rather than going door to door knocking, we just sort of migrated into the common areas and just sort of waited for other people to come in. So you were able to see everyone and meet them as they were moving in.
In the common area, was it like, did you have fridges, like ping pong, and what were some things that you could do
There were just couches and a TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of, okay. And then when you were living in the dorms, like, did you want to live in the dorms, or did you want to like just live in the city of Long Beach?
No, I don't think I want to live in the dorms. I think it's a good transition between, living with your parents and being completely independent, living in an apartment.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't know anyone at Long Beach, so it was honestly the best opportunity to meet people.
That makes sense. Did you meet anyone on your first day of like living in the dorms?
Yeah, I think we pretty much met my whole building. So I lived in a half-size dorm, so it wasn't as big as the other ones on campus. So there were only about, I think, 30 of us that lived in this dorm. So it was pretty easy to meet everyone.
Did you make any friends that you still talk to today?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it may happen. It's your first year. Everyone changes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you start college. You move in. How was the transition going to your first class?
I don't even remember that memory. Honestly, I feel like it was pretty easy for me. I mean, I'm that person that I like school. I like to learn. So it was pretty easy for me to get into the flow of things.
That's fair. No, I was super anxious when I first went. I remember specifically my first class was an 8 a.m. Chem 111 class. That's what I remember because I'm never going to forget. It was 8 a.m. And the worst part is like the parking structure for us was a solid like mile from the classroom.
Yep.
So I had to get there at like 7:40 in the morning to walk 10 minutes to my first 8 a.m. class.
Wow.
It was rough. and I commuted my first year too. So I started commuting an hour to class. But do you remember, so my ask is, do you remember some of the first questions that you would be asked when you would go into a classroom where you first met people?
I feel like we just did like those normal icebreakers.
Do you remember what they were, like the questions?
No. Do you?
Yeah. Because I remember my first 3 classes, I got asked the exact same questions by people.
Interesting.
Like, where are you from? What's your major? And what's your year?
Okay. That's
like very
fair.
generic.
Yeah.
But no one like told me about that. So I was like, this is kind of like how you meet people in college, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. I guess I do remember that, and they'd always ask those same 2 questions. It was major and year, but I feel like it wasn't a good icebreaker.
No.
From that, you learn absolutely nothing about whether or not I feel like we could be friends or not.
Yeah, I remember this one guy, he was like, oh yeah, I'm living in Hillside, B room, whatever, and he's like, come over whenever you want. I'm like, I just met you.
Yeah, like, it's weird.
It was the funniest thing, because like, I've never met these people, they're just making friends, which was cool. Yeah. I liked it, but I was like, you know who I am? I don't know who you are. I'm going to your room. Randomest times. So your major, when did you switch from bio to kinesiology?
It was within the first week or 2. It was very fast, yeah.
What was the change pretty easy to do?
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all, because I hadn't taken a lot of classes or invested a lot of time in the degree already. It was pretty easy to make the switch. Plus, biology was impacted, whereas kinesiology wasn't, so it was actually a fairly easy swap.
When a class is impacted, what does that mean?
So it was the degree that's impacted, which means it's sort of you enter as a pre-biology major, and then you have to meet certain criteria to be promoted to a full-fledged biology
Isn't that wild?
major. Yeah. So essentially, it's a harder major to get into at the school.
Yeah. There's a few of those that are at Long Beach that you have to be pre-something, and then once you meet the criteria, then you can be in the major.
Exactly.
But I think it's wild. You go in thinking you're going to be this, and then you just don't.
Exactly. What if I wasn't good at those classes and I just invested 2 years of my life to not even get into the degree?
Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of people like sometimes go to community colleges, because it allows you to find out what classes you are good at, you do want to pursue more, and then you can transfer in. Because I didn't know that. Yeah, my first 2 years it was just like mostly GEs, and then by the time that I got to my major courses, was like my 3rd year, and I was meeting people from like various community colleges. Like, oh yeah, I just transferred in from so forth. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, I didn't even consider it as an option back then.
Because your mom got her AA, right?
No, because she dropped out of school when she moved to New Jersey.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
Then she went back to college in New Jersey and just got a bachelor's.
Nice. Is an AA different from an AA here in the States?
No, same idea.
Oh, okay, so it's like a 2-year course or 2-year degree.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go. And then your dad, what was his major in college?
Political science.
Oh, nice. Dang. Did both pursue degrees past those? Like past your bachelor's?
My dad's taken some courses towards his master's. He's actually graduating with his master's in December.
Congratulations, your dad.
Yes.
Wait, in what?
Liberal studies.
Heck yeah. Oh, he was supposed to be a teacher?
No, he just wanted a master's degree.
I love that. That's super cool. Okay. So you switch major. That's really funny. But I feel that. I thought about going back to get a doctor, just in like something
just to say you
simple.
did it.
Yeah, no, just to say Dr. Flores.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to be a doctor, just like not a medical doctor, because Anyways. So you change your major. what was it like for you kind of being by yourself, because now you're in your classes, you're in the dorm life. Did you look for ways to get involved on campus right away, or did you kind of like just figure out classes first?
I think it was mostly figuring out classes, and then I became very close with my dorm mates. So I was primarily focused on my social life at that time.
How many units did you take per semester at first?
I was taking 15 to 18 because I graduated early.
Oh. Why? Like, sorry, not why
Because
you graduated early. Really?
Yeah.
Dang. No, I couldn't.
Yeah, I graduated in 3.5 years.
That's awesome. You just wanted to take... Okay, because you could. That's
There's
very
no
valid.
other reason.
Very valid.
My dad's daughter.
Did your dad graduate early?
No, but he's getting his master's for no reason.
Okay. That's pretty funny. Shoot, I didn't know you graduated early. Okay. So at what point did you... so you took 18 units every semester?
Pretty much,
Roughly?
yeah. I was taking 15 to 18. I was taking a full course load.
Do you take any classes during summer? So you're just in school the entire time?
Just because I like school and I wanted to graduate early.
Fair enough. So how did you find time to get involved with like your extracurricular activities?
I didn't sleep.
Really? Well, I know you. Yeah. But
I definitely slept, but
I was really surprised. I didn't know that. Dang, I know you're like that studious. Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm graduating early. Now that I know. So you didn't sleep because you were involved in all your classes, but what else were you involved in college?
I mean, at the time, my freshman year is primarily just taking my classes, and then I joined the sorority my second year.
Okay, which sorority was that?
AOPI.
Nice.
Whoop whoop.
Nice. How is it like? Because I think everyone always thinks there's a really like negative stigma to like rushing, and rushing is when you rush to join a fraternity sorority. I joined a fraternity as well, as you obviously know. But for you, like, what was the experience like? Is it rushing or recruitment for y'all?
It's recruitment.
Recruitment, right? Yeah. How is it like for y'all?
I'm very shy, so I didn't know if I would even enjoy being a part of a sorority or even going through recruitment, how it would work out for me. But what I realized was after my freshman year ended and everyone from my dorms I was really close to was getting apartments and moving on, I was like, now I really need something to continue to make friends and continue to grow. So it was really my parents that pushed me and was just like, just give it a go, see what you think. I knew some people from the dorms that had done it. So I went through recruitment, and it's all a blur at this point. Like going through all of those days, they're like 12-hour days of recruitment for sororities. So you're just in a bubble, just answering the same basic questions every day. Like, okay, now you know my major, but how's that going to help you decide if you want me? So I was able to find my sorority by the people that I felt like I genuinely built that connection with during recruitment.
No, Sam, that's really cool that you found those people. Because I always like find the group of people that you're gonna vibe with, because these would be like your friends and your family that you meet for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
And I do think it's funny how like when you are in those rooms, like learning about these different groups, that they tell you, oh, these will be the people at your weddings, at your baby showers, at your like big family moments.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it at first, but now being out of school for how long as it has been now, and being a part of like all of these different friends, like big moments, I'm like, this is a real thing.
Yeah, like as I said, moving around, like I lost just as many friends as I made. Like it was hard to keep in contact, but I feel like with all my sorority sisters, it's been a lot easier to keep in contact with them over the years, because we truly have the same values and we built a connection on a common value, common foundation. So it's been a lot easier to keep in contact with these women because we're truly bonded. I
love that. That's So you met most of your sorority sisters your second year?
Yes. Yeah, that's when I joined.
What was it like going to your first sorority event?
Nerve-wracking again. I'm a shy person.
Yeah,
I find people and I'm like, okay, you lead the way and I'm just following you. So for me it was extremely nerve-wracking. But I also was at that point where I'm like, okay, I want to become a better version of myself. I know this is my weakness, so what can I do to push myself out of my comfort zone? And that's actually how I got like my first position too within the sorority. I never thought I would be a leader at all. I'm a follower through and through. So we were just sitting there and they couldn't fill a position. And they're like, oh, does anyone nominate anyone? And someone who I lived with in the dorms was like, oh, I nominate Briana. I'm like, oh, okay. and no one else ran against me. So I was thrown into this position just because no one else wanted it. And I was
What was
like,
the role?
alum relations.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, guess I'm doing it.
How'd
And
you like
honestly,
it?
that was the biggest opportunity for me. That's where I was really able to find myself and realize that, hey, I can be a leader. Yeah.
What was your role in that position?
So I planned a couple events, like an alum relations event. We had our 50th anniversary that year as well, so I was involved in planning that. And then I would do monthly newsletters for our alumni and just keep in contact with them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think people sometimes don't know that there are like positions that are available within the organizations that you can do.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't something that I was looking for, something I had even considered when I joined.
What were some of the other positions that were available in the sorority?
There's some for everyone. Some of the bigger positions, obviously, we have our presidents, but then we have like vice president of communications, recruitment, sisterhood. So pretty much something for everyone.
Yeah, it's cool that people just don't know about that. Like
Yeah.
you can use that experience in that position to get a job after college.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you use any of your titles? Well, actually, how many roles did you partake in?
I had a total of 3 in my 2 years in the sorority. So
That's impressive. What were the roles?
so I did the alum relations, and I was our property manager, and then I also was our strikeout chair.
Wait, property manager. What's that?
So I oversaw the house.
Okay.
Any repairs that need to be done, our supply deliveries, because we get like our toilet paper and those kind of things delivered to the house. In charge of just maintenance, and then just making sure all the girls were in order.
Nice. And did you work with like alumni to get all this done, or is it kind of like just you?
Not as much alumni. We had a house mom as well. So we had an older woman who lived in the house with us. So she was sort of the person that I would go to for any help needed around the house. But we were also planning a big renovation at the time as well. So I got to be really involved in like the interior design of the new house and planning that out.
Nice. It's like real world and real life experience.
Oh yes, it stays on my resume to this day.
I love that. And then the last one you said was strikeout chair.
Yes.
What's that?
So that was our big philanthropy event, was we did Strikeout. So essentially I planned the week of activities leading up to our big soccer tournament. Things like penny wars and food fundraisers, those kind of activities.
Yeah, the more you're describing it, it's just like this sounds like a job that you were a part of for 3 years.
Yeah, 100%.
But you're volunteering for it.
Yep.
How is it like for you? Like, or how is that experience for you now that you're in your current role?
I definitely think it's helped a lot. As I said, I never saw myself as a leader. So those roles really gave me the confidence to be able to take on now leadership and supervisory roles in my job today.
That's awesome. So while you were in your sorority, do you mind sharing some of your best friends or like some of the folks that you were really close to?
Sure. So to this day, some of my best friends from the sorority, my big, Candace, she lives in Ohio now. But I just went out to her wedding last year, and then I saw her this past August as well, out in Ohio. So we travel to see each other now all the time. Caitlin was my maid of honor. She's actually the one that introduced my husband and I.
Small world.
Yeah, they're the two that I'm sort of closest to still to this day.
That's awesome. Dang. That's so funny that you are traveling out to different countries, or different country, a different state to see your big now.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So you were involved heavily with your sorority. You were very academically motivated to graduate, just kind of get things done right away. Was there anything else you were involved with when you were in college?
No.
Okay. Kind of jumping back a little bit, what was one of your favorite memories growing up?
Ooh, that's hard. I would say my favorite memories were all the travels that we got to go on growing up. My parents made it a goal. Every year they'd sit us down and be like, okay, do you guys want money for your college funds, or do you guys want to go on vacation? And every year my sisters and I say, let's go on vacation. So those were like the best memories of like us trying to decide where are we going to go this year, and now let's plan our trip all over the world.
Or where are some places y'all went to?
Yeah, so the first one that I really remember going to out of the country was Costa Rica. But we've been to Peru, all over Europe. We've been several places in Central America as well, so we traveled all the time.
Is that where you first got your first travel bug from your parents?
Oh yeah.
I know you mentioned that they stayed in New Jersey for a while, but when did they start traveling?
We always traveled a lot, but the first time that we really all went on our big adventure as a family moving was my freshman year of high school. We moved to Switzerland.
What?
Did you not know this?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I lived
That was your first move?
Yeah, I lived in Switzerland my freshman year of high school.
Like, I knew you lived there, but I didn't know it was like your first like family move. You just like up and left the country.
Yeah.
Wow, what was that like?
I loved it. I feel like my sisters were hesitant and they didn't have the best experience there, and I think it's because they were more set in their schools when we went, but I was going to a new school anyways, it being my freshman year. So it was a complete fresh start for me. Plus Europe, you have so much independence as a teenager. There's public transportation. You can get anywhere you need to go. You don't have to rely on your parents to drive you here and there. So for me, I loved it. That was my first glimpse of like independence growing up.
That's super cool. Dang. Okay. You were there for a year.
Yes.
Was that a big transition going from East Coast to a new country?
Yes. I feel like I was never tied to New Jersey. For me, there's never really anything there. It's just, this is where I live and that's that. So going to Switzerland, it really opened my eyes to the world and what other countries can offer. So then we moved back to New Jersey after my freshman year, and I was like, there's nothing for me here. Why are we living here?
Okay.
So I was eager to move again.
You don't hear that very often when you're eager to, or when kids are eager to move to a new place after being somewhere for so long.
Yeah, I'm that person. I feel like I'm not the center of attention. Again, I'm a shy person. So for me, being the new kid at a school, it sort of made me the center of attention without making me have to be the center of attention.
Okay.
So for me, I feel like I really enjoyed it because it was like, okay, fresh start. And now people naturally will come up to me rather than me having to start that conversation.
That's pretty cool. So that was your first big move. What was your, I know, and California was another big move. Did you have a big move in the middle?
That was really it for me. My parents have moved around since then. But.
Okay. So they have never had like a strong roots somewhere. They've kind of been like traveling around, seeing what they enjoy.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, after I went to grad school, my parents moved back to Switzerland and they were there for 3 years. Then now they're out in Vegas, planning their next move.
Did you have family in Switzerland, or why did they go out there for a job, or?
Yeah, my dad's job.
That's pretty cool. Dang, 3 years out there. Okay. Wow, and you kind of mentioned it right now about grad school. So you graduated from Long Beach early.
Yep.
Did you start grad school right away, or did you take some time to travel?
I had 6 months off.
Okay.
I just worked for those 6 months before I went back to school.
What did you do for work?
I was a chiropractic assistant.
Nice. And that was in line with what you wanted to do for your degree?
Not necessarily. So I was pursuing my master's in orthotics and prosthetics. So I was really just looking for any job in kinesiology, something to do with human movement, whether it was physical therapy or chiropractic, just to make some money for those 6 months.
Nice. How was that experience? Was it fun? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of the admin side, so scheduling, collecting co-pays, that kind of stuff. But then there was also some hands-on, so I had to help stretch patients. I would do like the ultrasound, the e-stim, a little bit of everything around the clinic.
What's e-stim?
Like a TENS unit, like electrical stimulation.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah. All this terminology, I had no idea. So you do that for 6 months, and then you go to grad school.
Yep.
Was it in person, or what was it like for you?
No, it was in person.
Okay.
It's a very hands-on program, so it was based out of Los Alamitos.
Okay. And then for there, like, what was the degree called?
It was technically a master's in health science.
Okay.
With a specialization in orthotics and prosthetics.
Gotcha. How did you know you want to do that degree?
I didn't. I
mean?
do everything spur of the moment. I was just taking a class. I knew I wanted to go to grad school. I knew that much. And again, I thought I was going to pursue physical therapy. But I was taking a biomechanics class, and one day they just brought up orthotics and prosthetics during this class, and I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. And I was applying just a month later. I realized I always like to do things that no one else was doing. In my eyes, it was like it would make me cool, right? If I did something that wasn't the common path. So to me, I was like, no one knows about this degree. You best believe I'm going to pursue it. So there I went.
What in the world? That's awesome, but I didn't know anything about you. Like, what? I always thought that you had planned to be. I knew you were in kinesiology, but I didn't know you wanted to, you didn't know this was a degree that you wanted to pursue.
No, I decided like my senior year, like right before I applied.
Huh. Dang. And how so you applied for the program, and then you started the program, and then did you enjoy it right away, or did you kind of like learn to enjoy it?
No, I enjoyed it right away. I feel like I almost enjoyed it back then more than I do now. That sounds sad, but that's just the way it is. I feel like everything's new. I just love to learn. So to me, it was just stimulation in every department. So I really enjoyed it.
That's super cool. So like now, you mentioned it was hands-on. Like, what was that hands-on experience like? What did you do?
So a lot of my program was learning to be in the lab making these actual devices. So orthotics and prosthetics, we're making braces and then the artificial limbs. So basically our whole program was us being in the lab, taking casts of patients, modifying these molds, pulling the plastic, doing everything A to Z for fabricating these devices.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't. So for folks that just don't know what like prosthetics do, so you literally like, let's say they're an amputee is missing an arm, you take a cast of their arm, and then from there, like, what do you do? Like, do you ask them like how long they want their hand to be, or like how does that work?
Yes, so you do a full evaluation obviously before you take the cast. So that's when you're talking about design, appearance, or the functionality of the device. And then it's my job to design this device based on your needs and your activity level. So then we take a cast of your arm, we fill that with plaster. We then modify it, so add plaster in certain areas, remove it in certain areas just to get it to fit you. Then we pull that with plastic. Then I fit the plastic on you to see how it fits, make any adjustments needed in that plastic. Once that's good to go, you fill it again with plaster, and then you do a whole lamination with carbon fiber.
Dang. And you do all that from start to finish?
I don't do as much as the fabrication now, so I'll still modify on my own, but I don't pull the plastic or do the physical laminations anymore.
But you used to do that?
In school, they teach you how to.
Gotcha. So how long, it's like, it sounds like this is a whole day thing where you, or not whole, like, whole process. How long would you say it takes for someone to get like a replacement?
The biggest factor is insurance. Insurance is always what holds it up. Insurance can take up to a month just to say yes. So realistically, it's usually like 2 to 3 months start to finish.
It's not too bad though. Well, I mean, if someone needs it right away, yeah.
But you're seeing them for a total of maybe 3 to 4 appointments at least until they get the final device as well.
Gotcha. So for folks, like, depending on like what they do daily, like let's say someone's really into gardening, you would like you would use different materials, different ways to move the arm. Same thing with someone that like is an athlete that wants to play like tennis or pickleball, like they have to have certain adjustments.
Exactly. So there's different types of terminal devices. So patients can have a hand that's myoelectric, so uses your muscle contractions to open and close the fingers. Other patients just get a hook that's used just by you moving your shoulder, opens and closes the hook. So things like that are all dependent on their activities.
That's really like a lot. I don't know this much. Dang. How long were you in school for to learn all this?
2 years.
2 years?
And then you have to do 2 years of residency after that.
Okay. And you're done with all of that, obviously.
I'm all done.
Yeah, you're one of the head people in your area.
Yeah.
When you were like in the program and doing all this, like what was one of your like favorite experiences that you like made you know that this is what you wanted to do?
I don't know if I ever had an aha moment, but just every time you meet the people and hear the stories, to me that's my favorite part of the job, is when I can sit down and do an evaluation with a patient and just hear their story like we're doing now. You ask them everything about their life, like from do you have grandchildren to tell me about your house to what'd you do for work when you worked. So you're really getting deep into their life, and I enjoy hearing that.
Are you doing that so you can see like what kind of lifestyle they have or have had?
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest factor, is how active were you, what activities did you prior to your amputation. Okay, that tells me how successful you're probably going to be with a prosthesis. Gotcha.
So the goal of like getting them a prosthetic is to make sure that their lifestyle continues to be the same with just some adjustments?
That would be the ultimate goal, yeah. Is the same or improved, really. Give them the ability to take on new activities and goals.
Nice. You mentioned like the design. How much of a, like, when it comes to the design, like is a person able to determine like what color and like all like the little things like that? Or?
Yeah, so if you've ever been to like Joann's or Michael's, any of those fabrics we could turn into your prosthesis.
Oh. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just dispensed one the other day that was like an ocean. It had fish and coral all over it. It was beautiful.
Gotcha. It was funny. Not funny. The first time I met someone with a prosthetic, they had a prosthetic leg. And we were talking about something. We were sitting on the ground just talking. And I was like, oh, I really like your shoes, because she had cool shoes on. And then she's like, oh yeah, it's part of my prosthetic. And I was like, what? She pulled up her skirt, I'm like, I never would have assumed that this was a prosthetic, because she was dancing like the week prior at this event that we were having. So I was like, that's super cool that she can live the life that she wants to live.
Yeah, you really can. There's nothing holding back these patients with the prosthetic devices.
That's super dope. And it's dope that you are able to make that happen too.
Yeah, I love it because it's instant gratification too. Like, you see the patient wheeling in a wheelchair, and then there they are walking, pushing their wheelchair out the door. Like, you don't have to wait and be like, oh, well, maybe you'll see improvement after 3 months. Like, you put it on them and you see that right away.
It makes me a little emotional, like, hearing that.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing them
I've
walk
cried many
in.
a times with my patients.
I can assume. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I don't have a prosthetic, but when I had surgery on my knee, I couldn't walk for like, I think a couple of months. My physical therapist like helped me get back to walking, and we're like, talk about it now makes me a little emotional. Like, not being able to walk is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And then not being able to walk by yourself is even bigger. Like, I remember I fell a few times and I couldn't stop myself. I remember when I fell, I was like, this is like not great.
Yeah, and I don't just do prosthetics. I do a lot of orthotics as well.
Okay.
So like braces for patients with like strokes, cerebral palsy, things like that. We do bracing as well. So it's not just patients that have lost their arms and legs.
What's so talking about like bracing? What is that? How's that? Is it the same process or?
Very similar.
Okay.
Same process. We take the cast, we modify it, we pull it with plastic. It's just a much shorter process. You don't have to go through the final lamination stages on those.
For the braces, like, what are some of like the main functions for those?
The biggest one would be for patients with drop foot. So if their toes catch the ground when they walk, like they can't lift up their toes are always like pointed downwards.
Oh, gotcha.
These devices help lift them up, hold it at like a 90-degree angle so that they physically do not trip over their toes.
Oh, gotcha. So that they're walking, their foot just like stays on the ground when they're walking.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're not getting heel contact anymore when they step. So our goal is to restore that function.
Gotcha. And I don't know if you can share about how does that happen when like their foot just kind of like just stays on the ground.
Because the brace is physically forcing them to stay at 90 degrees.
No, like when they don't have the brace, like what causes that?
A lot of diagnoses.
Okay.
Sometimes, honestly, it's just old age and it's just muscle weakness. That's the biggest cause. But you'll see, like, after a stroke, sometimes it could be nerve damage that causes it as well.
Gotcha. Okay, I never knew about that. Dang, that's really cool. Oh, it's unfortunate that that happens, but it's cool that we have ways to help people with that.
Yeah.
That's super dope. So how long have you been doing that now professionally?
Ooh, about 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, I've been with my company actually 5.5. So
are you technically a doctor or
no?
Okay.
No. So I'm a clinician, is what we call it.
Gotcha.
It is moving towards a doctorate program, so I'll probably be a doctor in the next 5 years.
Awesome.
Whoop whoop. But for now, no.
Okay, that's super cool. So clinicians, like, what I guess falls under that category or that umbrella?
I like to think of it as like a physical therapist before they became their doctorate program. So they're seeing patients. I can basically do everything with the patient except write an actual prescription.
Gotcha.
So I just have to, if I write a prescription, I then send it to the doctor to sign.
Okay.
But pretty much anything else we're doing just similar to a doctor would.
Cool. But that's super dope. I didn't know that you did all this.
Yeah.
So what is technically your title now?
I'm a certified prosthetist orthotist and a certified mastectomy fitter. That's my title.
I'm not gonna remember that. I will try, but the way you do is amazing, and it sounds like what you do is like very like life changing.
Yeah.
Not just for you, but like even it's life changing for everybody involved.
Yeah, it's extremely rewarding.
Oh, that's super dope. And you just did it because you just wanted to do it.
Yeah. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it called me.
That's awesome. That's super dope. Is there a certain level? I'm trying to ask. So where you are right now, is it the highest that you're able to achieve, or is there a place that you want to go that you're able to go?
No, so right now I'm moving into supervisory roles. So I'm
Okay.
actually stepping out of patient care, and I'm taking more of a management role. So currently I'm our clinical supervisor at my job. So I'm actually overseeing our purchasing and inventory,
Okay.
as well as all of the clinicians.
Nice. Sounds like you're going back to your roles from when you were a sorority.
Pretty much.
That's cool. Will you be able to go back to seeing patients if you want to, or is it kind of just
it would be very easy. I mean, there's a shortage of clinicians. There's only about 5,000 clinicians in the country.
What?
Yeah. So there's not many of us. And so it's not easy to find a job, but there are opportunities always.
Oh, okay. That sounds like there's a very low number of people for the number of people in the states that would need
there's
support.
always people hiring.
Wow, that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, but that's awesome to know that you can just kind of go where you want to. Have you thought about like leaving OC to go somewhere else?
I would. My husband will not.
We'll get into him in a little bit. He's yeah. Okay. What are some places that you would want to go to?
I'll move anywhere, anytime.
Really?
Yeah.
Like anywhere in the world or just in the States?
I'd move anywhere. I couldn't care less where I live.
That's super cool though, Briana. I didn't know that. Dang. Okay. When you were in your master's program, were there any folks that you met that you still communicate with?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, one of my best friends, she works 20 minutes away from me down the street.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is it because like you have to keep those connections with colleagues so that you can kind of share information?
Yes, because we're so small, you can't burn bridges in our field. You burn a bridge, everyone knows about it.
Gotcha.
So it's really important to stay close, but we'll call each other up still and ask for feedback, help with designing something if we have a complicated case.
That's awesome. How big was your cohort?
There were 20 of us.
Oh, really? Oh, it's a very small cohort.
Yeah.
Dang. Oh my gosh.
And there's only 11 schools in the country that even offer this program.
How did you find this program? What? Dang. Okay. You just stumbled upon it?
Yeah. Once I heard about it, then I was researching it. And I actually had gone into Eastern Michigan University.
Okay.
And I thought that's where I was going to go to grad school. And then I happened to snag an acceptance to Dominguez Hills.
That's right. I remember that you were talking about that you were going to go to Michigan a while back. Dang. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay. So you're a rarity then, because that's super like selective and small then. Okay, cool. When it came to like your grad program, like I know you mentioned you were like in hands-on a lot of time. Was there a lot of like studying and a lot of like testing, or is it kind of like more of like you had to show that you could do it in person?
No, so we would still have like standard classes that would all have midterms and finals. My program was very unique in that we were there every day 8 to 5 for those 2 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not like it was like, oh, you have a 2-hour class in the afternoon and then the rest of the day you're free.
Yeah.
We were together with my cohort. We all took the same classes at the same time, 8 to 5 every day. So I didn't study too much outside of that. I was like, I'm here enough. If I know it, I know it. If I don't, then I'll learn it tomorrow.
So it was like a 9 to 5 during the week?
Yeah.
Dang. How did you... Was it paid at all, or is it just... Wow, that's a really big commitment then.
Yeah, it really is. And there's no option to work, really, because you can work a weekend job maybe, but everyone deserves a little bit of time off.
Yeah, it sounds very consuming.
Yeah, it really was.
And you did it for 2 years?
Yep.
I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. That is wild. That's why I never saw you. It's all making sense now. Dang, congratulations, man. That's super impressive and awesome to hear. Dang. So now that you're moving into your supervisory role, do you want to go into a doctorate program for this, or are you still kind of saying?
So they're still trying to figure out the way this is going to move towards a doctorate.
Okay.
There's a very good chance I'll be grandfathered in and just sort of be handed the doctorate.
Oh yeah.
In which case, that's the goal, right? But if not, they're talking about maybe having to do a year of research.
Okay.
Which I can power through a year of research to get a doctorate.
And what will that look like?
We don't really know yet.
Oh, okay.
But my guess is they can't afford to have the entire workforce drop out for a year to do this year of research.
Yeah.
So I assume it's going to have to be more funded by the companies, and probably more so evening and weekends, I'm hoping. So I'm hoping that would be more feasible with a work schedule.
So you'd be Dr. Carago?
That's the goal.
Dang. That'd be so dope. I know, doctor. That'd be really cool. I know a while ago you mentioned that you're the only specialist in OC for a certain category. Yeah,
so I don't know if I'm the only one, but there's a lot of like subspecialties within my program. So a lot of patients are seeking out clinicians that already have experience and have done these types of devices before. So I had the opportunity back in August. I was flown out to Ohio by one of our manufacturers and did a certification course out there with one of my patients. So I'm now a provider for myoelectric fingers.
Oh. You're just learning all these things.
Yeah. So if a patient's just missing a couple fingers rather than their whole hand, I'm now certified to provide that device to them.
Gotcha. So there are different devices that can be given a patient? So like a hand, finger. Oh, okay. I always thought it was like just like the whole glove.
No, any amputation level. Like even if a patient's just missing like their fingernail, you can just give them the top of a finger.
That's really cool to know.
Yeah.
Sweet. I still can't believe it. You just like, I'm gonna try it, and now you're like one of the specialists in this field.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I go all in.
But it just speaks to like who your character is, because you go all in and you want to give your heart and soul into it. Have you always been that way?
Always.
I love that.
Like I don't want to. No one wants to do something and be bad at it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here, I'm gonna do this, and if I'm gonna do it, then I'm gonna be the best I can be at it. So here we are.
Here you are. You're still striving. Now we're going to go to. You mentioned it earlier, about your husband. Your husband is Mason.
Yes.
Okay. And you, how did you all meet?
We met at a fraternity party.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, really?
Yeah. It was your back to school party in August of 2015.
Okay, and
It was like right before move-ins.
when did you start college? 2014?
2013.
Okay, so you're in sorority the year after that, and then you
Yeah,
met
I joined
him
in 14 and I met him in 15.
15. Oh, okay, that's interesting. And you mentioned that Caitlin was the one that introduced you both.
Yes.
Was it at the party?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta learn more. What? How? When? Sort of like, were you just like walking around and she introduced you to
No,
him?
so she had lived with Mason in the dorms
Yeah, I knew that.
the year prior. So she already knew he was a kinesiology major and they were really good friends. And I was the only kinesiology major in my sorority. So she's like, oh, well, he's the only kinesiology major in his fraternity. You guys should be friends.
Yeah.
So she introduced us at a party.
Dang. I didn't know it was a party. I thought it was like some other event.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know Mason. Obviously, he's my pledge brother. That's how I met you. Okay, so it was at a party you all met, and then you just were friends at first, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were friends. So the day after this party was move-ins. So we hung out together during the move-ins, and then we were pretty much inseparable after that.
Were you two, I guess, in close corridors in the dorm move-ins, or?
So during the dorm move-ins, I was with Caitlin and some other sorority sisters, and he was with some of his fraternity brothers. So naturally, we were just chit-chatting.
Oh, because you weren't.
So our groups would sort of just link up.
Because you weren't living in the dorms, you were just helping with the folks moving.
Correct,
Okay, that's right. I'm
correct.
sorry,
Yeah,
confusing it. Okay, that's cool. So you guys just hung out, just became friends.
Pretty much. I mean, we became instant friends. We have a very similar sense of humor, so it was very easy for us to get along.
Yeah.
And then classes started. We started carpooling because we had the same classes, and then we'd study together.
I'm surprised that y'all didn't meet before that because you have the same major.
No, I had actually heard about him before that, but I hadn't met him.
What'd you hear about him?
Well, he asked one of my sorority sisters and good friends at the time to go to your formal in Vegas.
Oh, gotcha.
And he had her make her own cupcakes. She worked at a cupcake shop, and he had her make the cupcakes, asking herself to go to Vegas. So when he picked him up, he then gave them to her, and she came to me saying how she didn't want to go to Vegas with him, and gave me the cupcakes.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why would? Oh my God, Mason. I can only imagine this girl getting those cupcakes, like working hard to make them, giving them to him, and then just giving them back. Like I just made my own
then
gift.
I ate all of the cupcakes. I didn't know who this man was, but after that, I was in love.
Wait, why were you in love with the cupcakes?
No, with him.
Before you even met him?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. I mean, after that, I knew who he was because she would talk about him.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I became friends with him on Facebook.
What in the
Yeah.
world? That's so funny. Did you ever watch the movie Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist?
Oh, not in a long time.
Yeah, one of the parts was like the girl Nora falls in love with Nick without ever meeting him because of the music that he created for the other girl that he was dating at the time. That's so funny. I didn't know that he did that.
Yeah.
Dang. Were they like, what kind of cupcakes were they? I'm kind of curious.
I think they were just vanilla cupcakes that had blue frosting on them.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was at the end of May in 2015, and then you met in summer.
In August, yeah.
So like 3 months later? Okay. At any time did you want to meet him before then?
Not necessarily. I mean, I say I was in love, but really we were just like Facebook friends after that, and I knew who he was. But I didn't really have any interest until I met him that night.
Okay. Did he know who you were?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's super cute though. That's really cute. Your family has like a very cute like love stories. Like it's kind of adorable. Okay, so you became friends, started carpooling. You were inseparable from then, and then he was living in the fraternity house with me in 2015. Were you living in sorority house?
Yes.
Okay, and then our houses weren't that far from each other.
No, they were a 2-minute walk.
Did you? I'm assuming y'all hung out a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was always at the fraternity house after that.
Yeah, that's right. Because I remember him saying that you two were friends, but I didn't actually meet you for like a month after the dorm move-in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, we were genuinely just friends. I would just come over there and we'd do our homework.
Yeah, I think that's when I first met you. And I remember the first memory I have of you is Mason saying, "Marvin, burrito." And I was like, what?
So that's how we really met. But I don't think that's safe for the podcast.
Fair enough. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, because Mason and I were roommates. We shared like this tiny room. It was just like two bunk beds. And yeah, I remember that. So I remember you just come over and you two were doing homework in the living room. Okay. When did it change? When did it move from like a friendship to more of a like romantic relationship?
I think it just happened very organically. Like just over time, as we were spending more and more time together, I think we both just started to catch feelings for one another. I mean, we spent every waking moment together. And then I met his family. I went up to Bakersfield and met his family before we even started dating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were still friends. And spent the weekend with his family. It was me and another one of my sorority sisters went up there with him. And so I think meeting his family, I met his friends. I think that's when we were really like, okay,
this is more serious.
There's something here, because even his mom, because I guess he had told his mom like, hey, I'm kind of interested in one of these girls. And his mom said, I really hope it's Briana that you're interested in. Aww. And so I think that helped push him as well.
Because I remember you all started dating like in October, right?
November 1st.
Officially.
Yes.
But you were interested.
It was maybe like a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, I remember. How much of that story? Okay, so that's awesome. You all met, started dating November 1st, and then you were dating for how long after that?
We dated for about 3 years before we got engaged.
Yeah.
Our first date was a sister's wedding.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Your sister's wedding?
No, his sister's.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. That's really cute.
Yeah, I mean, he was like groomsman. So he stayed at the house like the night before with all the guys. So I spent the night with his mom and the bride at his mom's house, and then woke up the next morning and helped the bride get ready for her wedding. Meanwhile, I just met this woman. And then he sat at the head table during the wedding, so I was sat at the family table like with his mom. So I basically spent our first date with his mom.
Y'all jumped together really fast. I didn't realize how fast it was.
Oh yeah, after that we knew this was it.
Dang, so I was like 6 months, like within 6 months, like you were together. Huh. That's adorable. Okay, so you started dating, moving together, and then you get your first dog. Yeah,
so it sort of got thrown upon us. So at that time, my parents were getting ready to move back to Switzerland. So they needed someone to take their puppy. It was only a year old. Someone needed to take their puppy. And so we were like, well, we have our own apartment now. Let's do it. Yeah. So we sort of adopted my family's dog.
What was his name?
Harvey.
Little Harfster. Dang, so you both like just jumped into it then really fast.
Well, yeah.
I didn't realize
as soon as we had started dating, I mean, I more or less moved into the fraternity house. Yeah. But we officially moved in together like with our first apartment within a year of dating.
Yeah, that's right. I remember I was his roommate, and then I lost the room, and then you came in, and I was like, all right, well, I'll be on the couch. Never forget.
Thanks. At least it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for y'all. Okay. For some reason, it never clicked to me that you two got together like really fast.
Yeah, and even from that moment that we were together, like I think we knew that this was it. I haven't spent a holiday with my family since then. I've been at his family holidays ever since, even when we were together for like a month. I was at his family's Thanksgiving.
At what point did he meet your family?
He met them before we started dating as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was it at?
He had come to my house for Canadian Thanksgiving in October.
Just him?
Him and Caitlin was there as well.
Oh, okay. That's super cute. Shoot. Oh, yeah. I know
So we
that.
were fully all in by the time we even started dating.
Did he know that he was fully in?
He won't admit it to this day.
I don't think he knew he was fully in.
I don't either, but
I think you
was.
knew. Yeah, I think you knew. I think he was like just oblivious, like Mason always is. No, I love Mason, but Mason's very oblivious. Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, you're dating for 3 years, and then you got engaged.
Yes.
What was that engagement like? Did you know?
Yes, I had gone ring shopping. So
Okay.
his mom, his sister, him and I all went ring shopping together, actually. Yeah,
What?
starting earlier that year. So that was in November of 2018.
Okay.
We started ring shopping, and we went for the first time with his family. And I tried on rings. I found a couple that I liked, but I'm very indecisive. So I was like, okay, I really like this one, but I don't know. I didn't want to commit to something. And so his sister and I then went and got lunch, and him and his mom like stayed back and discussed the decisions with the rings. And he told me, oh, I didn't get anything. Like, let's just keep looking. Like, I want to make sure you're in love with your ring. So we go back to Long Beach, and he's taking me ring shopping still at other stores. And still we hadn't committed to anything. And then he proposes to me in December. I'm like, oh, he actually got a ring. We were still ring shopping like the week before. But I guess he had gotten that first ring from that first day we had tried him on. And he had hid it in the cabinet above the stove for like 2 months until he had proposed.
Dang.
Yeah.
Where did he propose at?
Yeah, so he proposed Christmas 2018, and that was out in Switzerland, where we were visiting my parents.
That's right.
Under a man's crotch.
What?
He proposed under a giant statue.
Oh.
But in the photos, all you see is the man's crotch. I'll show
hilarious.
you after.
I remember seeing them on Facebook because I was like, what the? He's getting engaged? Because I think at that point, me and Mason like hadn't talked in like a minute.
Yeah, so I knew it was coming, but it was still, he did a good job making it a surprise. And then when we were flying out to Switzerland, we were trying to just do carry-ons. We didn't want to check a bag. And we're at the counter, and they're making him check his bag. And like, oh, if you have anything valuable, like take it out, put it in a carry-on. And I didn't know he had the ring in his bag. But I guess he was sweating bullets, like, I don't want to check the ring, like, what if something happens to it?
Yeah.
But he also couldn't take it out, because then I would see it. So he let it get in the checked bag, and luckily everything made it there. But I guess he was extremely nervous.
Yeah, I would be nervous as well. That's so funny. Such an amazing thing to do, too. I love that kid. Okay, so you get engaged in November of 2018.
December. Christmas.
Sorry, December, yeah, December. But you went, yeah. And then, what was that like, the engagement? Was it like a whirlwind?
Oh, yeah. I think right away, my parents were very pushy on the fact that, like, you're not really engaged till you have a date. So they're like, you guys need to set a date for the wedding. So that was one of the first things that we had to do, was choose the date. And I mean, I was still in grad school at the time, so I wasn't making any real money. So we were trying to be like, okay, well, we can't have it too soon. We can't afford a wedding yet. But I didn't want to wait a couple years either. At that point, I was just ready to go. So we settled on a date, 4/4/2020, because we loved the way it sounded. Yeah, and we started planning from there.
Nice. Yeah. And then COVID hit.
So COVID hit, the middle of March of 2020.
Yeah.
All we had left to do for the wedding was our bachelor and bachelorette parties. Everything else was paid for, done, booked. I already had my dress picked up. Like, everything was done and ready to go. And so our venue initially, they were like, okay, you guys can still do it. Like, COVID's going to be gone by April 4th. No problem. We might just have to lessen the number of people. And we're like, okay, no problem. And we weren't going to cancel it. And then, like, the week before, they said, okay, we have to push it back, but let's push it back till August. They said, at that point, COVID will be done. You guys can have the wedding that we planned of 200 people and call it a day. So we were like, okay, let's do it. And it was no issue. And then comes July, and we're like, okay, COVID's still here. COVID's not going away. There's no way we're getting married in August like we had planned. And we were communicating with the venue, and we said, okay, are we still on? And they said, yes, we're still on. According to current regulations, you guys can bring 50 people. But you still have to pay us for the 200-person minimum that you had promised us before. Yes, and this was already, I was at peace because I knew we had another date, but I was a wreck those 4 months. I was like, I just want to be married. Now you're making me start from scratch all over again. So I was at my peak at that point. I was like, no way are we pushing this back again or paying you for 200 people if I can only bring 50 people to the wedding. So we ended up leaving that venue. We lost a lot of money. We lost thousands of dollars in the process, all of our deposits with them. And I refused to push back the wedding anymore. So we found a wedding planner. It was actually his sister's friend. And she found us a random venue in Tehachapi, the middle of nowhere, where they would host a wedding still. And we replanned the entire wedding in a month.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
This was a month. Yeah, we went to the venue one time. And that was that weekend that we talked to the wedding planner just to look at it. And we're like, okay, great. We didn't have any time to taste food, anything. We just chose things blindly and said, let's do it. Yeah. Mason was furloughed at the time. I was still working full time.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Mason, like, I need you to take control of the wedding at this point. So he did a great job of making sure everything came together.
Dang. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was the most stressful 4 months of my life. But
yeah,
we still had the wedding. I didn't have to push it back again. We had about 100 people there.
And I was there.
It was beautiful.
No, it was a really nice wedding.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't know about any of this. I'm happy you made it through though. Like, that sounds incredibly stressful.
I can be stubborn. Like, I saw a lot of other people I knew that were still pushing back their weddings and pushing them back. But again, I had known I was going to marry this man at this point for like 5 years. I was like, I'm not waiting any longer.
Yeah.
Like, I've made it this far, so I refuse to push it back any further.
Dang. Well, it was a really fun wedding. I had a great time.
Yeah. It ended up really being beautiful, and honestly, I think it turned out better than our original wedding would have.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to enjoy it and still, like, celebrate it. Dang. But I'm so sorry for all the stress. Like, that's... Dang.
Yeah. It was difficult, but we made it out.
Yeah, and I've been married for...
Almost 5 years.
5 years?
Well,
Is your...
4, but...
Is your anniversary date still 4/4/2020, or is it?
It is.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna ask. Okay, cool.
I don't know anything about an August wedding.
I love it. I love it so much. That's super awesome. So you're gonna be so going on 5 to 6 years.
Like 4.5 years right now.
So how long? So you've been technically together for almost 9 years.
9 years next month.
Oh, that's right. November's next month. Dang, I completely forgot about that. Shoot.
Yeah, we've been together a long time.
Yeah, but you can't. Does it feel like it?
Yes and no. Like, when I mentioned it 9 years the other day to him, he had that moment where he looked shocked. He was like, has it really been that long? So it feels like it's been forever. Like, I can't imagine not being with him.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it's been that long when you say 9 years. That sounds like a long time.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Dang. We wish a lifetime more to you too. Oh boy. Freaking Mason. Love that kid, but biggest headache. I know you mentioned that he doesn't want to move, so you're planning on staying here for a while?
That's the plan. I think we're open to staying like within Orange County, maybe even Long Beach again, but we're not looking at moving any further than that.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's really cool. It's really nice. Hey, so I have a little Harvey.
Yes, we do. He turns 10 years old next month as well.
That's wild. Hey, thought about getting him like another puppy?
Yes.
You have? Has Mason thought about it?
I will get one tomorrow.
Wait, really?
I'm ready.
Oh.
Mason's the one holding us back.
Just do it. He'll love it anyways.
Yeah.
You usually like show up one day with like a nice big...
He's more practical. I'm more emotional, so I definitely follow Golden Doodle Adoptions on Facebook.
You should get one. My sister just got one. They're a lot of energy.
They are. I really want to get one before Harvey gets too old.
Yeah, so I got a little puppy to go. Now I'm same thing with Cora, because whenever my sister brings over her dog and to play with Cora, she like turns into a puppy again. Yeah, because she just loves the energy.
We're just so busy right now. Realistically, I know we don't have time to train the dog as much as we'd like to, but I'm hoping it's on the horizon.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, definitely think about it. I mean, I had a friend that had 4 dogs and they loved it. It was a lot for them.
Yeah, it is a lot. And we're hoping to buy a house, and if we buy a house, it's going to be probably smaller than what we have right now. So we don't want to get another dog and end up not having space for them either.
Makes sense. Just taking for a run every day.
There we go.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So now you are in your career, you're married, you are living your best life.
Yes, we are.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. What's next for you?
I really want to continue to focus on my career. I think that's the biggest priority for me right now. I know Mason's just building up his career, so I want to build it up alongside of him.
Okay, that's really awesome. In what aspect do you mean?
Being able to continue to support him. I mean, me working financially obviously helps him be able to focus on building his business.
Yeah.
But also, I would just love to help him build his business in any aspect that he needs.
Heck yeah. And his business is primarily what again?
Personal training.
Heck yeah. Love that kid. Mason's a funny kid. I know you mentioned earlier as well, you're more than likely going to be getting your doctorate because of the way that the career, or I always put not department.
The field.
Thank you. The field's going in. Is there a different field that you want to look into as well that's like for fun?
Yes, I have a lot of side hustles.
Heck yeah.
So I'm also a notary. So I'd love to continue to build that as well. And then I've been slowly working on my associates in accounting.
Oh, okay, cool. Do you want to be like an accountant or?
It's always been a dream job of mine. I'd love to do tax preparation.
Nice. Would you be able to, in your field, would you be able to open like your own practice?
I could.
Okay.
It's definitely something that I've considered, and I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. But as I've talked about many a times, is I'm a follower. So for me to jump out and like just be completely on my own, it's scary, but it's definitely something I'm considering.
Yeah.
I love the back end business side, and so I'd love to be able to pursue that.
I know you say you're a follower, but a lot of what you've done is like very independent.
I like to push myself outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah, so I'm like, I wouldn't agree with the fact that you're a follower, because I think you do a great job at pushing yourself to not be that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're one of the biggest specialists in your field, and you've done so much that you made your wedding happen. Like that was a big thing. So I think you may think you're a follower, but when hearing you say that, all these things, I'm like, you're definitely not. The fact that you wanted to move from a different state to a country to a state, and you kind of forced your parents to hang back to get your license. Yeah. Like, this is a lot of things that most shy kids wouldn't do.
Yeah. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm just repeating what you said.
Yeah.
But that's super awesome, and I'm really excited to see like what's next for you. So for this next portion, we're going to kind of like a lightning round.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So growing up, what was your favorite meal?
Ooh, this is not so much lightning meal. You're making me think about it. I think when I was a kid, I loved shrimp and French fries.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about
Those were always my favorite two things to eat.
That makes sense.
That's what I always said my favorite food was growing up.
What about now? What's your favorite food?
Now I'll eat anything other than corned beef.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
If there's a place anywhere in the world that you would want to visit for a vacation, where would it be?
Tanzania.
Why? That was very quick.
Yes, that's where I want to go. I really want to hike Mount Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
It's a dream of mine.
Why is that?
I don't know. I saw it one time and I decided I needed to do it.
That's just who you are. I see it. I want to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a dream of mine for probably like 10 years now. So.
Okay.
I'll make it happen.
What was your ideal vacation growing up?
I mean, anywhere really. I think I loved the vacations that we went to in like South America. Like my Peru trip really stands out to me. I think just culturally it's so different.
Makes sense. What's one family tradition that you want to keep going with you and Mason?
I think my family's Christmas tradition was always really special to me. We would wake up at midnight, and that's when we would have like a big, it was called tourtière. It's like Canadian meat pie. We'd eat that, and that's when we'd open all our gifts. We'd play with them for a few hours, and then we'd go knock out for the rest of the night. But that was sort of like our little Christmas tradition growing up.
That's awesome. What's one of your favorite activities to do now?
I like to do anything active. We've been really into like pickleball, paddle boarding, going for bike rides. Anything adventurous and active I like to do.
Okay. What's one competition that you want to beat Mason in?
Competition? Everything. I want to beat him in basketball. Put it on the record.
Have you beat him yet?
No.
Okay. It can happen.
Too short.
I mean, you can have Mason like.
I have beat Mason in very few things.
Yeah, well, Mason also cheats. He's not. Love Mason, but he's terrible. Okay. What is one memory that you have growing up that is very close to your heart?
I don't know. These are hard questions, man.
Putting you on the spot.
I think this one childhood memory always stands out to me. And it's sort of when my parents realized that I was really into like traveling and adventure, and I was just wanting to do everything I could. My dad came home one day and I was just sitting on the floor reading maps. Okay, yeah, that's what I would do for fun. Okay. I read maps. I wanted to know the geography of everywhere and everything, and he would start just quizzing me. He'd be like, how do I get to the airport? And I'm just looking at this map of California. It was foreseeing the future, and I was like, oh, you take Route 5, here you go, Dad. And I'm just like answering his questions. They're like, wow, like this girl really wants to travel, and that's how I would know where I wanted to go, was just reading these maps.
Have you ever thought about making your own map?
I haven't, but that sounds like a good idea.
It'd be kind of fun making your own map.
Yeah.
Designing it yourself and everything.
Yeah.
That's super dope. What is one goal that you have in your career, professionally?
Take on the world.
What? What does that mean?
I mean, I just want to keep growing. To me, I like to keep seeing room for improvement. So every time I have a goal, like that's what I'm going to chase after next. So taking over the world is the ultimate goal.
Beautiful. Is there a goal that you have in mind that you want to accomplish in anything?
In anything? Not a specific one necessarily right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can think of one because people like want to.
I know. I'm sure I
skydive,
could
throw a first pitch at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Do a backflip. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know my goal till I have my eyes set on it, and I accomplish everything I want to.
That's a
boom,
hell of a
mic drop.
mindset. That's fair. You don't have a goal because you accomplish anything you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't give myself time to let it still be a dream or a goal. As soon as I think of something, like I go and pursue it.
I love that. Heck yeah. Has there been a goal you haven't accomplished?
Other than going to Tanzania, that's been a goal for too long now.
Okay.
Yeah.
When's the goal to make it happen?
I don't have a date, but I'm trying to find someone that will go with me first.
I will go with you.
All right, let's plan it.
We've talked about this so many times.
I know. And we haven't planned it, but we should.
Right. We can
next
definitely
year.
plan it. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Easy. Done deal. Simple question. What was your favorite color growing up?
Brown.
Elaborate.
Brown is still my favorite color to this day, actually. I mean, as I said, I like the underdog. I like these things that people don't think about. So to me, I felt like brown was an underappreciated color.
Fair enough.
And so I took it under my wing.
Fair enough. All right. What is one new tradition that you want to start with Mason or with yourself?
I mean, you just asked it before, but being able to do more goal setting and like set like smaller goals for myself. I feel like I have a lot of big dreams and I'll chase after those, but just like day-to-day goals to help with our self-improvement, I would love to do that.
Thank you. All right, this will be our last question.
Okay.
So obviously you know the podcast named Mike Memories. And you shared a bunch of memories and I really appreciate it. What is one memory, or even if you want to share a few memories that I haven't asked you yet, that you want to make sure are recorded for the future?
I think something about me that you probably don't even know. I was in a ski accident when I was in middle school, in the 7th grade. I sprained my knee skiing. And for the next 3 years after that, I basically lived on crutches. I wasn't able to do anything in school, like even PE class. So I had a lot of like physical, limitations against me. So that was something that I really had to push through growing up. And then I went to Boston my sophomore year of high school, and I lived there for a month, basically doing rehab for my knee. And so whenever I think about where I am now, like those are the experiences that really stick with me, because that's when I was really like, okay, I can do whatever I need to do to be the better version of myself. So really that's always the memories that I go back to.
Dang. So you were in crutches for 3 years.
3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew that. Yeah. How did that experience shape you now, do you think?
I think it held me back in a lot of ways at that time. Like it prevented me from sort of doing things I wanted to do. But that's why I don't let anything stop me now. Now I'm like, okay, I want to do it. Let's go do it. I'm not gonna give myself time to limit myself from accomplishing anything.
Very well said, Briana. And I'm very happy that you're able to make a recovery and I guess take that experience of like that empathy of knowing how hard it is to do what you do now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think that just sums up everything I've been through.
Awesome. Well, Briana, thank you again for being here. Thank you for sharing your memories. This definitely won't be the last time we do this, but I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course.